Welcome back as we continue to mourn the Toronto Raptors' loss last night. Just kidding. We're not actually in mourning.
It's just one game.
It's just one game. I may have been momentarily crushed last night, but it was still an enjoyable affair. It's still surreal to have the Toronto Raptors in the finals, to be honest. Let's start there with our talk coverage of pro sports. Some people are saying the series is over already, which seems strange to me, especially with the injuries that are involved. But what was your takeaway from the game, aside from the obvious, which is they blew it in the third quarter?
Yeah, there's two ways to take a look at this. You know what? That third quarter was the downfall for the Raptors last night. But at the same time, you know what? If they sunk the baskets they were attempting to shoot, if they went down, that's a different game. Their defense played very well because this is one of the best teams probably ever in the NBA, this organization, the Golden State Warriors. So when you hold them in a check, for the most part, they could have blown you away, and they really didn't. You still had a shot at the end. You have to take a look at that and say, you know what, our defense was good. We just got to sink some baskets when we need them. Golden State's a little banged up. If they get healthy, will the outcome be different? I don't think so, because the Raptors play good defense.
And as you said to that point about defense, the last 3 minutes of the game, I believe, aside from that Andre Iguodala three that sunk the result, it was basically a scoreless affair for the Warriors down the stretch. So again, if the Raptors hit one of those open shots, they're right back in. Not to mention that attempted Kawhi steal that didn't happen before the Iguodala
Yeah, he
basket.
makes that steal. Who knows? Might be going to overtime. So.
And then the question becomes in next week's, or not next week's, but Wednesday's matchup. Do you worry about the Warriors' health, or do you think that they have the advantage just now that they're back at home?
They have the advantage going back home. That arena is electric, and the crowd's going to be amazing. It's going to be off the charts. As much as it's crazy in Toronto, you ain't seeing anything until you see Golden State's home crowd. I still think the Raptors go there and get a split.
I think so too. I think they played very well on the road. Obviously, they had 4 straight wins against Milwaukee, which included a Game 5 road win. They've won on the road against Philadelphia, both road wins against Orlando. It's not an easy place to play in Oracle Arena, but this group has been pretty resilient, and they're clearly not afraid of the moment, at any rate. Stanley Cup Finals got Game 4 tonight between the Blues and the Bruins. And then after that, they break up the gaps a little bit. So what they're going to do is similar to what the NBA does, where they have the 2 or 3 days in between the rest of the way. So some players might actually like the rest, but you think it's more due to the networking than actually the players themselves?
It really is, because right now you're trying to juggle Rogers here in Canada, you're trying to juggle NBC in the U.S., and you're trying to make it work into their schedule. So really it comes down to a network decisions and when this series is going to go. And yeah, it's getting kind of dragged out to a certain extent. We're sitting here in June and we're talking about hockey.
Yeah.
I don't exactly agree with it. I don't think anybody saw what happened Saturday coming. I don't think we thought the Bruins would blow them away. I thought it was going to be another close game. So it'll be interesting to see how the Blues respond tonight.
You know, John Hamm and several other celebrity fans will be cheering for their St. Louis Blues, as well as anyone who doesn't like Brad Marchand, basically.
Which is a lot of people.
A very good number of people. Really quickly, just to touch on the Jays' misery, do you think they have to start moving some personnel based on what their record is at this point? I think they're on pace for less than 60 wins.
Well, for the Jays fans, be careful what you wish for. You wish for all these young kids to get pulled up into the lineup and get called up. You're getting those young kids in the lineup, and you're getting mistakes by those young kids. At the plate, they're not doing bad. Out in the field, they're horrendous. I think they're going to start moving at least a couple of pieces in their starting rotation. Maybe a couple of veteran pieces out in the outfield might get moved as well.
And then 10 seconds or less, what's going on the sports show tomorrow?
Yeah, Tuesday night sports show tomorrow night. Jason Greger from TSN Radio in Edmonton will join us. Also be joined by John Shannon from Rogers. And we'll talk about Brew Man, who had an accident not that long ago, and a fundraiser locally for him.
Yeah, don't want to miss that, folks. And you don't want to miss the rest of the cast here on Primetime Local News.